That tastes fabulous. Hi everyone, welcome to Rugged Pine. I've got a new recipe that I'm trying and I'd like to share it with you. It's called grilled Guinness marinated steaks. So this is something you're going to marinate your steaks in and then take them out to the field with you. We have the meat. It's basically the equivalent of just one steak, but that's what I'm just going to do. It's just one meal for me. And then it has ground black pepper, salt, and dehydrated parsley flakes, and oregano. And then we have soy sauce in the back. And that yellow tube is homemade mustard. It's a family recipe. And the more mustard you put in, the more zip it's got. The recipe actually calls for Dijon mustard, so I'm substituting our home recipe. And I think that'll give me a little bit of the kick that they're looking for. Then Worcestershire sauce, 1 clove of garlic mushed up, and some minced onion as well. And I'm going to use Rickards Red beer. Now I know that's not a Guinness. I'm not a beer connoisseur, so I don't know how it's going to make much of a difference to the recipe because I've never actually tried this before. So if anybody out there knows their beers or has cooked with more beer and has an idea why a Guinness would be a better beer than just this red ale, leave a comment in the section below, and I'd love to hear from you, because then if it makes a big difference, I'll try that next time. So I'll put it together and then we'll let it marinate in the fridge. The recipe does say if you're not going to go to camp right away, this also works very well. If you mix it, put it on your meat, marinate it, then when it's done marinating, say overnight or 2 to 6 hours or whatever, then go ahead and throw it in the freezer and freeze it with marinade and all. And then let it thaw slowly while you're at camp, and then by the time it defrosts, you'll be ready for your supper and making it then. So I'll put it together and we'll get it into the fridge. This recipe is actually portioned for 6 steaks, so I'm just going to round everything down, divide by 6, take my best guess. So they want 20 ounces of your Guinness, which I'm only going to use half or less than half a bottle of beer. Then they want 3 garlic cloves, but I just went with 1, a little less than that, so I won't be using that one. Then they wanted a 1/4 cup of minced onions, but I'm just going to go with a little less than that. That's a yellow onion. 2/3 of a cup of soy sauce. I can do even less than that. Part of a 1/4 cup is probably enough. Five teaspoons of Dijon mustard. Well, let's go with the family recipe. Let's see, 1 tablespoon is 2.5 teaspoons. So that's about 2 tablespoons right there. I really like this homemade mustard recipe. Tablespoon of oregano. We only need about a teaspoon's worth. Oregano is pretty strong. You want to go light on it in your recipes when you're portioning down. Tablespoon of parsley. So again, we're going to go with about the same. Woo! Comes out fast. About a generous teaspoon there on that one. Half a teaspoon of black pepper. So that's going to be just a pinch. And then half a teaspoon of salt. Again, just a pinch. gonna stir that up. Oh, almost forgot my Worcestershire sauce. It says 5 teaspoons of that. You don't need that much. So about 2 teaspoons. Oh, that really gives it some nice zip. Really nice. Okay. I'm gonna put my meat in. I'm going to coat that really well, mix everything around, make sure all the little bits and pieces are broken up. Yeah, my barbecue is pretty squeaky. Kind of like I got a mouse going on here. Lots of liquid there. Everything's covered. So I'm going to put this in a plastic bag and then I'm going to stick it in the fridge for, let's see, it's 6 o'clock right now, and it'll be about 3 hours before the end of the night, and at that point I will move it to the freezer. So juices and all are going in the bag. I will put the recipe link down below. And one important concept of this, apparently, is the beer has to be room temperature. It's going to take on and blend with the other flavors much better if it's room temperature. So if you want the rest, stick it back in the fridge with a cap on it so it doesn't go flat, and enjoy that. Or take it out to your campfire and just drink it up right now. Don't want to waste it, eh? There we go. Oh, it smells fabulous. I can't wait to try it. I'll squish the air out so that all of the juice has a better chance of contacting every side of the meat. It's kind of hard to close through the quote there. Got a piece of parsley in the way the zipper wouldn't close. Okay, there we go. Here's the grilled Guinness marinated steak recipe. I'm going to put that in the fridge, and I'll show you how it turns out later. Well, it's been about 3 weeks now. The Guinness marinated steak has been in the freezer because we were going to not cook it that day that I made it, but to see how well it froze so you could prepare it ahead and take it out to camp. Well, life's been busy. I was hoping to take this out to camp to cook it, but things got in the way, and I figured, you know what? Middle of October, we are October 7th. It's a beautiful sunny day today, so we're gonna cook them up. I'm hungry. Let's put them on the grill. Let's see what they turn out like. Okay, well, I'm waiting for embers to calm down from the flame there a little bit before I put the meat on. Looked up Rickards Red. What kind of beer is Rickards Red? A full-flavored, medium-bodied red ale. Features slight hoppy bitterness balanced with candy-like caramel malt sweetness. Brewed using a signature Munich malt with a touch of brewer's caramel to create a striking ruby red appearance and a bold, refreshing taste. We just like it because it doesn't give us a headache or a hangover. I know that's not even close to a Guinness. A Guinness is a lot darker and a lot thicker and a lot richer. But this is what we're going to use, and I hope it turns out really good. Okay, there's some really good heat coming off there. So that's the steak. It's been marinating for 3 weeks. Well, it's done. Now let's see what kind of a meal we have. The sauce cooks down into a really nice thick gravy. So that'll be awesome for your potatoes or buttered buns, campfire bread, what you're making out in the bush. That's awesome. So let's taste what we got. Smells garlicky and smoky. That tastes fabulous. Taste the onion. It's got a strong woodsy smell to it. Strong woodsy taste. Definitely a flavor that carries itself on a plate. Very strong flavor between the onion and the garlic, and I'm sure that's the Rickards Red popping through. That is a very flavorful dish. And prep it at home, throw it in the fridge, freezer, take it out to camp, let it thaw, throw it in the fire pit. Just make sure you don't throw too much water in the frying pan like I did, because then it tends to boil the meat instead of brown the meat. So any excess, lots of fluid, just kind of keep that in the bag, keep it to the side. But this is delicious. I can't wait to make this again out in the bush. Do a little bushcraft with it. And the hubby will be satisfied. He's a meat and potatoes kind of guy, and this will definitely give you lots of warmth and lots of energy for today. That is so good. Thanks for coming along.